In the early 2000s, many kids, teens, and those with not much time on their hands found themselves playing their very first MMO, Runescape. Kind of a landmark of a video game, to be honest. Not the first of its kind, and certainly was not the last, but RuneScape's enduring legacy is held by witty writing, grindy but rewarding gameplay, and having an active community of people who care about the game, its legacy, and all the adventures they've had. Unfortunately, a very funny company got the rights to make physical games based on it. Runescape Meat and Fuck Kingdom released in 2024 by Steamforged Games, and if that name sounds a little bit familiar, it's because it's behind the rather infamous Dark Souls 5e game, but they got the rights to make it and... I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's not good. Bad even. Scarily so. Let's hit the ground running a little bit. This is a 3d6 roll under game. If that sounds immediately horrifying to you, then welcome to the team. If there's anything that RuneScape Meat and Fuck Kingdom is based on, it's actually GURPS of all things. But similar to the Dark Souls RPG, get ready to be also vaguely confused because the editing is a goddamn meme to Steamforged Games. To explain some of the oddities, we need to make a character, which is to say we cut through the first 60 freaking pages of RuneScape lore and distribute our 8 points among our 3 attributes, which is actually 5 among 3 attributes because we have to assign at least 1 to everything. Exciting stuff. Skills are the main meat of RuneScape, arguably the most important aspect. All skills start at 1, and then we'll choose or roll for a class package for the rest. If I roll a Wander, I have 2 in all of these skills, which is awful because 3d6 roll under encourages specialization. So hopefully you have some decent skills to roll up to actually succeed at anything early on. If you want the easy way, you have 10 skill points to distribute. Maybe, perhaps, because the game outright lies to you on the page about it. This right here is a lie, because it is then immediately followed up with the first result being 4 skills and worded terribly. Then it says you can also start the game as an adventurer with experience by having 2 packages instead of 1, something I very much heavily fucking recommend. And that's it. Finally, determine your HP, which is all of your attributes plus skill points mixed together. This leads into improving yourself, as long as you are using the long list of variably useful skills, because some skills are far more useful than others. Your marking box is next to your skill. At the end of the session, you increase 1 skill by +1. At skill rank 5, you get an attribute point. Hooray! You didn't increase your skill beyond 5 at character creation though, right? Because you're gonna lose attribute points if you do that, including having background packages that outright give you 5. So yeah, fun design choice here. So we get back to the main game itself. 3d6 roll under, add your attribute and skill together, and make a test. For everything, mind you, mining, fighting, defending, it's all the same roll. What I want you to do now is click your mouse. Feel that click. Now imagine every time you do that, you instead roll 3d6. Welcome to RuneScape Meat and Fuck Kingdom in a nutshell. Gathering resources can either be a laborious or pretty quick depending on your skill, but instead of AFKing and watching your favorite documentary on congenital herpes, you're instead rolling those bones for 1 piece of wood if you fail. Mind you, not that there is an attribute or skill requirement for more difficult kinds of woods, or even notes on those different resources. You'll just kinda have to find that out yourself, and fuck you. Combat is also a complete clusterfuck. Initiative is player facing, mostly reliant on you making an attack skill check to hit, and also defend with whatever combination that's best for you. This is the only way to trigger your armor, by the way, to reduce damage, as some attacks simply ignore it and auto hit, while others are simply blocked if you fully succeed, because enemies don't roll at all actually. They instead roll on an action chart to determine their action. As you can see with some of the stranger writing choices here, with the White Knight dealing auto damage and the Barbarian not doing auto damage. I'm not losing my mind, this is how the game is actually written. Magic is similar to RuneScape itself, relying on more runes to be successful, or in this case, a magic intellect test while you expend runes. Though some of the spells are more arbitrary than others, it doesn't help that the RuneScape isms are also lost, as certain items are not required but spells are in the game. Not major, but it is pretty pronounced from an official RuneScape nerd nerd TM I spoke to about it. Crafting, the bread and butter of many a RuneScape days, it's also just checks upon checks and is an extremely lazily made tables that are effectively copy-pasted. The worst offenders in the entire crafting section, including the reduced value of food to being near fucking worthless, are weapons and armor. Some weapons are just listed wrong in some cases, or made out to be extremely weird for no fucking reason, or how there aren't any robes, but instead armored shirts because of the complete lack of any other resource bar metal and arbitrary animal skin. Armor doesn't do better, with a vast majority of it either being very similar to each other, with boots not changing any value till mithril, or plate legs not changing at all regardless of it, except if it's dragon hide. Capes are miraculously not completely ruined, though some are actual skill capes and others are random bullshit we cobbled together, ha 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 laugh. If I had to describe RuneScape Meat and Fuck Kingdom, it would be phoned in. The majority of the game feels like it was more of an obligation by the writers to shit out something to appease a contract rather than deliver anything satisfying. If you really like RuneScape, you're gonna be immediately disappointed it's not living up to the right amount of tism that draws you into it. If you don't like RuneScape, then why are you even looking at the Meat and Fuck Kingdom at all? Maybe Steamforged Games will unfuck it with a later release, but why would they bother? That name is all that really matters to them, and I feel they really let it down. My name is Notepad, and this was RuneScape Meat and Fuck Kingdom. If you like what I do here, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Many thanks to the Varog Banker Alts for their continued inventory space. Godspeed, good luck, and I was more of a Sherwood Dungeon kind of guy.